Hello Sim fans, Racing 393. What I thought I'm going to do today is take us round Silverstone in about 1991 in Assetto Corsa. I do believe I have a track layout that sort of mimics the 1991 GP season, and it will be around Silverstone. It's not everyone's cup of tea, the track. It's gone through many changes over the years. I quite like it. I like its current one. I like the old one. The bits in between. There was particular elements of certain eras of that track which were really, really good. Whether they're as good as what it was back in the day, it was one of the fastest F1 tracks in the world, including Monza. Yeah, I don't know. It's just characteristic changes, isn't it? Everyone's going to have their favourite era of Formula 1 and certain tracks, etc., like drivers. So this is quite an iconic picture of the Nigel Mansell. I believe this was 1991, around Silverstone, when he gave Senna a lift back to the pits. You can imagine that just would not happen today. It's just unbelievably strict, but back in the day some things were more acceptable. But that is one of my all-time favourite pictures. Two of probably one of my favourite drivers that I could, off the top of my head. I've got others, and certainly the sort of 91, 2, and there's been others, but they're the ones that sort of stick in my mind a lot, that kind of era. So the plan is, what I'm going to do is take a couple of these cars around Silverstone. I'm going to make sure I've got a layout which is suitable, and we're just going to jump in random cars from about 91, 92, 93, early 90s I think. I'll let you know the years if it changes outside that. And I'm just going to show you a lap. So although I'll be practicing a few laps to get used to the cars, I'll only record this, quite a short recording actually, on a lap of Silverstone, hopefully the 91 configuration. But let's hop in. I'm not quite sure what car to use yet. I'm planning to use, I'm going to try and work my way up through the field, so a sort of a slower car, and so on and so forth until I get into a quicker car, and just to see if there's like a difference in lap times and things like that. Should be quite interesting. Right, in one of the cars from sort of early 90s, and I'll see you in slight pits. Change of plan. I can't find a 91 layout for Silverstone for Assetto Corsa. All the other sims seem to have it, like AMS and R Factor, but not Assetto. So what I've decided to do is just to pick, although it's going to be the sort of the 91 era, kind of, it would have to be a more recent layout of Silverstone. So first up, we're going to take this Coloni. I think it's Ford powered. Can't really see the Ford logo on there. I'm desperately looking, unless it's powered by steam, according to that sponsor. Well, hardly any sponsors on it. Driven by Pedro Chavez. I do recall him, but don't think he did very much. So let's hop in and let's see how quick this one goes. We are in the Coloni. I've done a few laps. So what this involves me doing now is an out lap, because I'm on the lap, and then I'll do a quick lap. So this is a Coloni 1991. It's certainly not that quick. It's H pattern 6-speed. We've got to be really careful with the gear changes, otherwise the car over revs. You can damage the engine. What else? It doesn't seem to have a lot of power. If this is a true representation of this car, I'd think I'd rather drive my tuition vehicle actually. It's pretty quicker than this. So I'm going to resume. I'll do a little bit of talking, but it's more a case of comparing just the different cars that you can get around this era, and we'll work our way up, hopefully, to something a little bit more. I will say it's not fun to drive. It just doesn't seem quick enough. I'm hoping the other cars that I try show this. So let's give it a go. Nearly stalled. So just really an outlap, really. Try and get the tyres warmed up. They're all cold at the moment. I run like an external app down here. Heel and toe, the old way. About 11,000 RPM. It's a change gear. No power there at all. Back tyres are warm now.
Sector 2 is a tenth off your best.
So we're going to come round now to start the lap.
Sector 3 is 0.5 off your best.
Slightly too high rev in there. Don't want that light on.
Sector 1 time is good.
I don't know why they bothered turning up if it's this slow. Oh yeah, all the tyres are hot now.
That's your fastest lap today.
So that's a 157.17 or something. So I'll just check what that is. So there's my lap time. I could probably go a little bit quicker than that, but I was trying to keep it neat and tidy. So a 157.166. So that was actually my quickest time in all my sectors put together. So we're going to change the car. We'll see what, I don't know quite what car I'm going to get yet. I'll have a look and we'll give it another go. It'd help if I put my mic on, wouldn't it? Right, yeah, next car. Leighton House. I think it's something to do. I don't know. I should have looked actually. Ivan Capelli or Ivan Capelli. I quite like this car. It's this sort of shape, that shape that you see there by the F1 terms. I like this. It's one of my favourite eras, to be honest. This car particularly was one of the famous crashes. I don't know the year. It was Paul Ricard, when he sort of didn't brake properly, took up and flew up in the air and landed upside down. Quite a famous crash if you sort of look back over the archives. But let's see if this one's quicker than that Coloni. It's a little bit more refined, slightly further up the grid in its day. In fact, it was good enough to lead a couple of races, I believe. So let's take this one round Silverstone. So here we are, same sort of layout again. Just going to do an opening lap, have a little chat while we're going round, and then we'll do a flying lap. I've done a few laps, got used to it. It does feel completely different to the previous car. As you can see, straight off the bat, it's got a digital dash, which the other car just had like a normal tacho. I've left the FOV standard, so it will sort of sit the same. I suppose it depends how the mod's made, but it works okay for me. It does rev slightly higher, this one. I find that the gear changes at about 13,000 RPM, where the other one was 11. It's certainly got a little bit more poke, more grip, it seems. So let's get going. With just an out lap. The idea is just to be clean rather than out and out maximum attack. About 13,000 RPM. We'll change gear.
Sector 1 is 2.3, slower than your best. Your front tyres are cold.
Tyres are cold, really. Back ones are okay. Fronts are cold. It does feel better. It's got more poke. Like there, through there, feels a lot quicker.
Sector 2 is 1.6 seconds off your best.
Tyres are warmed out all round.
That lap was at 1:57.45. That's your quickest lap in this session. Sector 3 time is fast.
H pattern again, heel and toe. Try not to overdrive the corners. Nice and smooth. Tyres all nice and hot now. Way quicker.
2 time is okay.
Very easy to overdrive that last couple of corners through here. Oh, nearly again.
You've just done a 151.82. That's your quickest lap. Sector 3 times okay.
So that felt a lot quicker. It was had much more grip in the corners. The sort of the power band and where the revs and how it came in and delivered that power. It was a much more enjoyable experience. I felt that the sort of the amount of revs you were coming off the corners, especially in 3rd and 4th gear, it felt very satisfying around this track. Where the Coloni always seemed underpowered. So according to that time there, I think we're like 5 seconds quicker than my previous best, which was the Coloni. I'm not sure how close or representation that would be, but let's go and just check. Let's go and check the lap time. So my lap time there, a 1:51.8. So that's a lot quicker. 1:57 was the other one. So 6 seconds, a good 6 or 5.5 seconds quicker. That's quite a lot of difference. If it's anything true to what the cars were like, maybe that Coloni didn't really qualify because they had enough cars in '91 or that sort of era to have too many cars for the race type of thing. So they had non-qualifiers. Whereas like nowadays, 2021, 2022. By default, you'll be in that race. There's not enough teams, so different era. So let's, well, what I'm going to try and do, I'm not going to make this video too long. We'll just keep it 3 cars, and then I'll probably do another 3 cars in another video. So we'll go up a little bit higher than the Leighton House. So I'll, let me have a look, and I'll see you in a bit. So we'll go up the grid, in my opinion, slightly higher. They're fairly competitive around the sort of the midfield to the back. There's all sorts of teams in there which I could have chosen, and they're all much of a muchness. So we're in the Tyrrell, powered by Honda. Again, that typical cab and air scoop design that I particularly like. It does look pretty much identical in many ways, as it seems that in this era, this tended to be the way forward. In my opinion, the best looking F1 cars it's ever been. So this one was driven by Nakajima. I should have looked at the tyres actually. I didn't realise if they were all Pirelli. I'm pretty sure that there was different tyre makes. No, Michelin, Pirelli. What else was it? Goodyear? Don't know. Was that year? I think so. I'm pretty sure. Like the Williams and things and McLaren were on Goodyear. So it seems ironic now that we've got one set of tyres. It's just different compounds. But back then we had different tyre manufacturers. I think that was better. We all know that Ferrari reported to have special tyres, but anyway, let's get this car around there. So that'll be 3 cars we compare. The other previous lap was a 1:51, was it? Something like that. I'm not very good at remembering times and numbers, so I'll have to have a look. And we'll see how this one goes. So we're sat here again, sort of similar position on the track. We could do another out lap and then we'll do a flying lap. You can see here just by the lap time there, this lap was a 1:54. It wasn't a particularly on the limit lap. I'm trying to drive consistently like the other cars. It does feel not as quick as the Leighton House, but it does sound better. It brings back a lot of memories from the 91 season of the sounds. This car, in its day, had its moments. You know, Tyrrell's quite a big name in Formula 1. Back on the digital dash again, so slightly more finances available, I guess. All three of these cars that we've done have all been H pattern, which does involve using the clutch and the right timing of the gears. I think this one revs to, again, about 13,000 RPM. There is a little light on the dash that comes up, but I'll try to change gear before that, otherwise the engine app comes up and it comes up red, which means you're sort of over revving the engine. So let's take this out. We'll do an out lap. It's a bit louder, this engine, so I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to hear me as well. So I don't know whether I'll do my normal chatting as I go around, but we'll see. So let's get going. Sounds great. Tyres are cold at the moment. Gearbox damage there. So we need the tyres up to temperature. Hope we don't damage the gearbox. Got a nice turn in. Doesn't seem to be as quick as the Leighton House. Got tyres nice and warm. Let's give it a go. Try not to overdrive in the corners. Bit of understeer there on the apex. More gearbox damage. I missed the apex then. Not good. Engine damage. Tyres are nice and warm and hot. missed a gear then. Damn it.
You've just done 1:51.59. That's your best so far. Times are good in all three sectors.
So, that was fun. You could drive that car a lot more on the limit. It's got much better turning, but I did miss a couple of apexes. But you can feel that through the force feedback. It kind of goes very light, as if it's pushing forward. So it's very, very good on that one, on Assetto Corsa. You found that the tyre, my tyre app, you can see, you can't see it, but all my tyres are sort of up to temperature. Apart from that outside front, that was the cooler of the 4 tyres. Again, you can mess around with setups and get that a little bit into the window there on Assetto Corsa. But as you can see, I damaged my gearbox. It was a couple of sort of misshifts as I did. It wasn't quite synced and over-revved the engine a little bit. And towards the end of the lap, I missed my gear coming out the final corner. It just, yeah, it was only really the syncing of me. You know, it doesn't actually do anything with the gear shifter, but it's more a case of my timing of my clutch and everything and when I change gear. But that was really good fun. It was a 151. It was pretty close, so pretty similar to the Leighton House. I'm just going to have to check now to see exactly where that was. So that was a 151.593. Oh, that's not a bad lap. I think that was pretty close. Maybe a little bit slower than the Leighton House. So I'll just check. I'm pretty sure we could check. So here we go. I've sort of filtered the times, the lap times. I have been round there before, as you can see. So the ones we're looking at really, the Tyrrell, the Leighton House, and the Colony. So the Colony, we did it in 157.1. So quite slow, but the other two quite close. So 151.8, and the Tyrrell was ever so slightly quicker, 151.5. It could be where I'm getting a bit used to the sim, used to the track, etc., etc. And I've done that many laps around there, funny enough. So you can see that I have been around there before in a couple of other F1 cars. So we've been around in a 2006 iteration, so a lot quicker, and also. What year was that? That was a beta version of a download of the 2020 cars, but these are the ones that I'm most interested in. So they're the first. I'm not sure I can get rid of that. If I can maybe delete that one. Remove entry. Yeah, we can get. I can get rid of these. These are absolutely fine. So part 2 will be another 3 cars further up the grid, and we can sort of compare the times with these. Just to make you aware, what I did do for Silverstone, this is a bit anarchy, but I changed the time, the daytime, like what the time is, as I did each lap. So it was slightly later in the day. I think I started it at about 8 o'clock, just gone 8 o'clock in the morning, and worked my way through what the actual time was. So it changed the time of the day. I did check with I won't say that word. I nearly said it. I did check with the talking bot in the background what the temperature was there and the weather that we can expect and the wind direction, just to make it, I don't know, why not? That's just me all over, isn't it? So that's part 1. We've got the Tyrrell Honda with a 151.593, and that's probably from the back end of the field, sort of back to sort of just about mid-range. I'm pretty sure these 2 cars are sort of a bit better than midfield on their day, but we'll see. So we're going to go the next 3 cars, which will be in part 2, will be further up the grid. So I'm not quite sure which 3 they'll be yet, and then we'll have a little comparison of what we and how we felt. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. It's just something different, and I'll see you in part 2.